Mariam here. Welcome to Cross Transformation. In today's video, I would like to talk about why do we feel unheard in life? Why do we feel unheard by others? The primary reason is our lack of communication with ourselves. Communication is an important aspect in life. I believe communication is the root of our happiness. It's not about communicating with the world. It's not about communicating with others. It is about communicating with self. Because if we don't communicate with ourselves, our reality will be the perception of hurt, pain, and loss. Most of the time, that is where we are in disagreement with others, and we identify them as not hearing us, not caring about us, or we are not heard by them. But truly, it comes down to the point that we have blocked ourselves from communication with self. There are a number of reasons that would lead us to block ourselves from communicating. Number one, running away from negative emotion. Meanwhile, negative emotion is a message to embrace a shift, is a message to see the situation from a different platform, is to realize a change within ourselves so we can shift that negative emotion to a better feeling, to something that is more pleasant. Instead of resenting ourselves, embracing the positive change that comes as a result of experiencing negative emotion. So our fear of experiencing negative emotion can block our lines of communication with ourselves, and instead we become so reactive and impulsive. The second reason that we don't communicate with ourselves, and we equal that to not being heard by others, is we identify communication with ourselves as I'm not a good person. So we bring identity, character to communication, and because we want to protect ourselves, our egos want to protect us, we don't communicate, but again we project that pain, that unhealed pain, onto others, onto the world, so we can find some level of satisfaction in the situation that we believe or we perceive as to be hurting us. So it's good to understand that identity is one thing and the behavior is something else. So most of the time we avoid communication because we think that I'm a bad person, I'm not good enough. So if I would communicate with myself, it's very scary because my character is on the line. So instead of facing something that can be very, very healing, which is coming out of that ideation about ourselves and implement positive changes about a behavior, we don't communicate at all. And what we want is, again, we confront a situation, we confront a person. So if they change, I can feel better. And most of the time, the change we want others to make comes from our unhealed resentment, the resentment that hasn't been healed in us because we have never communicated that resentment to ourselves or with ourselves. And in the absence of communication, we can't arrive at acceptance. We can't acknowledge what we are experiencing. Instead, we keep telling the narrative, the story that says, I'm not heard by others, others ignore me, they don't care about me, they don't understand the magnitude of the pain they have caused. And I've gone through that before, and I found it very hard at some point to come out of that perception that the magnitude or the scale of that problem caused me so much pain. For so long, I was convinced that that was the reason I couldn't communicate with myself. But if we want to be honest with ourselves, if we really want to face the difficulty that is coming from here based on our perception, then we will initiate communication with ourselves so we can bring that shift to the world and see ourselves, our life, beyond the point of where we are. It's like planting a seed. Where do I plant the seed? On the road, in the gravel, in the weed, or in a soil that is healthy? Communication is like planting a seed in a healthy soil and allowing that seed to grow, to become, and we can see the manifestation of that outside of ourselves. What we bring to the world is the result of our communication with ourselves. And it's never about whether I'm heard by other people. We start validating everything from ourselves. The first step to validate is to communicate with ourselves. And many times when I have had a difficult situations that I was seeking validation by others and they wouldn't give it to me, I found communication with myself to be the starting point, and communicating and validating my own feelings and seeing the situations not from the perspective of drama, not from the perspective of I'm a bad person, not from the perspective of I've lost something or someone hurt me, but to see what can be achieved as a result of this situation, which means taking my style of communication to the next level. God bless you.